I can imagine that some of the pastors or parish leaders might be wondering, how in the world do you do a vocation program in a parish? Where do you start? How do you begin? And I know for myself, when I was a pastor, if someone had said to me, I want you to put together a vocation plan for your parish, I wouldn't have known how to start. What I'd like to be able to do is to give you a few ideas on how to begin in your parish. And to begin, let me offer you an unrealistic scenario, but one which I propose just as a way of being able to focus attention. Let's imagine that our bishop sends us an email that says, we are flat out of priests. We got no more priests to send to the parishes. There's no one going to be coming after you at your parish. You're the last priest your parish is ever going to see. But if you find a worthy candidate in your parish, we're going to educate him, we'll ordain him, and we'll send him back to you. Otherwise, you're it. Now, again, that's an unrealistic scenario. It's never going to happen. But I use it just to play pretend and to imagine what then would happen. Because I know for myself, if I were a pastor and I got a letter from my bishop, what I would do is I'd call together my people in the parish, my pastoral staff, maybe my administrative staff, my ministerial staff, and I'd say, folks, we got trouble. I'm the last priest you're ever going to see. And we cannot allow our parish to not have the sacraments, not have the Eucharist, not, bury our children or bury our dead. We do not want to have a priestless parish. So we are going to need to find a worthy candidate in this parish. And that's how I begin. I would begin by saying to my people, let's gather together and let's see what we can do to start a parish vocation outreach. Now, the book that I sent to all the parishes, that 3-ring binder that kind of contains a variety of ideas, I would be using that as my springboard, as a way of beginning this initial meeting I would have with all of my parish and my staff. And if you have that book in your parish, great, I would use it. If you don't have that book, you can be able to download it from the PDF file, which is also on this same website. So, I have this meeting, I have all my movers and shakers together, and I'm going to begin by saying to them, folks, we have a vocation crisis in our hands that maybe we as a parish have not yet felt, because we've been kind of shielding our people from the shortage of priests, but now it's upon us. And I would begin by first asking them, my people in the parish, what do you think about this? And why do you think there's a shortage of priests? Because I'd want them and me to be on the same page with each other so that we're all of the same mind. As I said, we've shielded our people from that, and maybe they don't even know. They've heard about it, but they don't know it from having a felt experience of the shortage. So I'd want to give them a chance to be able to talk and be able to give me all their ideas. Maybe some would say it's because we don't have married priests, or maybe they'd say we should have women priests, or maybe they'd say because of our present culture, it's so consumeristic and self-oriented, it doesn't lend itself to service-type ministries, or whatever. Many ideas could come, and I wouldn't be trying to say yes or no to any of them. I just want to get them out on the table. But eventually I would lead the conversation to the point where we are going to play with the deck of cards we got. And we're going to we're going to work within the limitations of our situation. And what we've got to do as a parish is find a worthy candidate for the priestly life, and also, for that matter, for the religious life. There's no reason we have to limit this just to men. We would likewise be doing some kind of outreach toward women also for the religious life. And I would be then saying to my staff, for example, my confirmation coordinator, we got this booklet here. Here's a lot of ideas of what you might be able to do. Here's some ideas of what you could be able to do in the confirmation ministry among your confirmandi or with your core team that helps you. Take a month, have a meeting, meet with them, talk about what you might want to do. Come back with a plan that you're going to have for the confirmation. I did the same thing with my religious education coordinator. I'd say to her, here's some ideas from this booklet we have. Think about it, talk about it with your other catechists, come up with a vocation plan for your ministry. And I would continue doing that for all the different ministries in the parish, the school, the youth group. I would want also some of my other ministries, like the Guadalupanas or the prayer groups that go on within the parish. Maybe even, if some parishes have it, Eucharistic ministry groups, ushers, and so forth. But I'd be expecting my entire parish, my whole parish, to be mobilized and saying, I want every one of my ministries, every one of my pastoral areas to be coming up with what they are going to be doing in their respective areas. I'm going to give them about a month or so to come up with a plan. Now, in the meantime, I will have chosen one person from my staff. And I mean one person from my staff because I'm guessing that if they're on my staff, or at least a very well plugged-in volunteer, somebody who has got traction, has got juice with all the other staff members, I'm going to take that one person, and I'm going to really bring them up to speed on all the possibilities of what could go on in the various ministries with vocation outreach, which means that they've gone through that hearing binder, they've looked at them, they understand the idea and the direction behind it. I will have trained this person and what the overall goal is. So then the confirmation people meet, and my parish vocation promoter will go into that meeting too. And that way, they can kind of give guidance to it, direct it a little bit, in case the confirmation coordinator is still scratching his or her head saying, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. The parish vocation promoter can give a little direction to it. And likewise, too, the parish vocation promoter would go meet with the principal and the teachers, or the DRE and the catechists, and so on, to kind of give a little direction to it, try and give a little bit more background explanation. It's going to be natural that a lot of the staff members and the other volunteers and workers in the parish might be saying things like, why are we doing this? I'm not a vocation promoter, I'm a teacher, or I'm not a vocation promoter, I'm a catechist. That's natural. But that touches on something which I personally think is one of the main reasons why we are experiencing the vocation problem we are. And that is we have no vocation infrastructure on the parish level. When I was a little kid growing up at St. Ferdinand School in the San Fernando Valley, double grades each level, we had 16 vocation directors. They were called nuns. And they worked tirelessly, always promoting vocations to the priestly and religious life. And now that we no longer have that infrastructure in our parishes, that is, all those nuns doing all that vocation work, we don't have anyone doing it. And that's what we need to begin doing. And so what we are doing is really replacing that vocation structure we used to have in our parishes. And so, yes, you're a confirmation coordinator, you also wear another hat. You promote vocations. And yes, you're a catechist, and you wear another hat, you also promote vocations. And yes, you're a principal, and you wear another hat, and you promote vocations. You can see then all the more reason why we have to have an initial meeting to bring everybody on board, to bring everybody up to speed so that they can be able to see something new is happening in our parish. So that parish vocation promoter is going to all the different groups throughout that month to try to keep everybody on track, everybody's understanding, and then at some point in time I'm going to have another meeting. And at that meeting I want to hear what the confirmation people are going to do, what the youth ministry is going to do, what the school is going to do, and so forth. And then I'm going to put together our vocation plan for the parish. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put together this plan, I'm going to submit it to my regional bishop, I'm going to say this is what we're going to be doing in the coming year. And throughout that year at our staff meetings, my parish vocation promoter will be talking about what's going on within the parish, what's being projected, what we expect to do, and so forth. And I'm also going to set goals for myself and for my pastoral staff. I'm going to say, what is our goal going to be in terms of recruitment? Do we want to have one vocation within the coming year or two within the next 3 to 5 years? What is that goal going to be? And I'm also going to do the very difficult thing, and that is not just promote, but I'm going to want all of our people to be recruiting. So that confirmation coordinator is not just promoting, also recruiting. I think this is going to be valuable for vocation ministry, and I think it's going to be very valuable for parish ministry. And by that I mean this. If I were to go back and be a pastor again with this idea in mind, I'm going to be talking to my 8th grade teacher. I'm going to say to her, you show me who the real leaders in the 8th grade are. They're the ones I want to cultivate. And maybe she'll identify 2 or 3 people, the boys and the girls who are the real leaders. Good. I want to put them in some sort of ministerial leadership in the parish. And I want to keep them close. I want to be certain that they get into the youth group. And I'm going to tell the youth coordinator, too, those are the leaders. We want to cultivate them. And I've been saying the same thing to the confirmation coordinator. Pick out your real leaders. And those leaders, I want them in ministerial positions of leadership. And maybe, odds are 95% of them aren't going to go into the priestly religious life. But they are going to become the future leadership of my parish. And so I would be going to every one of my ministries and saying, find me those future leaders in your present ministry now. And and we want to cultivate them. And I would be cultivating the ones where it's appropriate. For example, I would have a dinner at the rectory for some of the older leaders that I think might be very good for priestly religious life, or maybe just good, solid parish leaders. And I would be developing them. And I may be having them over to the rectory for dinner. Or I might have an evening of prayer for our young adults, especially the ones who I think are good, solid leaders. And I would have discovered that because my confirmation and my youth ministry and my DRE has already given me these names and so forth. So you see the idea what I'm trying to get at. If I were a pastor, I'd have my entire parish mobilizing this way, not just for promoting vocations, although certainly that, and not just for recruitment, although certainly that, but also knowing full well that what we are doing also is developing future leadership. And I think that's where this vocation plan can prove very beneficial for the parish too. And so how would I go about recruiting vocations? The same way I go about recruiting parish leadership. So, I hope this proves a help to you. If anything I've said needs clarification, feel free to contact the vocation office. If you need more materials, we have those. If you need DVDs, we have them. We have the DVD of our seminarians. We have the DVD of the Fishers of Men. We can send you another 3-ring binder if you want to. You can download that from the webpage, but if you want the binder instead, we're glad to send that along. We can send along reading materials, you name it. And if worse comes to worse and you say to yourself, well, I still don't know what next to do, contact the vocation office. I'll be glad to meet with you, and we'll take it from there. Thanks very much. Good luck to you.